Namaskaram, everybody. Let's. Om. Behija Puragadekshakar Mukurajab Chakrab Japashotpala Vryagrasvapishan Ratna Kalashaif Prodhyat Karam Bhurvaha Deyo Vallabhaya Sapadmakaraya Ashlishto Jvalat Bhushaya Vishwotpatti Vipatti Samsatikaro Vignesha Ishtardadha Shri Natadi Gurutrayam Ganapatim Pitatrayam Bhairavam Siddhaugam Vatukatrayam Padayugam Dhuti Kramam Mandalam वीरान्ध्यष्टचतुष्कषष्टिनवकं वीरावळी पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनीमन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् मातर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषः प्राणापहारोऽध्यमे हेलनिर्मितधूम्रलोचनवदे हे चण्डमुण्डार्दिनी निःशेषे कृतरक्तबीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुम्भापहे शुम्भध्वंसिनि संहर सुदुरितन् दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके सर्वं श्री चण्डी महालक्ष्मी श्री पादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः सद्गुरुं श्री पादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः. Welcome all of you for this second session on the Prelude to the Lalita Sahasranama. Some of you have written some beautiful and short reflections, and I totally welcome these reflections from two perspectives. One, it's a kind of a direct conversation with me. I'll be personally responding. As of now, I haven't responded to the yesterday's comments. I'm really sorry because there were other things that were going on. Today, I'll be sure responding to all those who have written your reflections, and reflections is a way of communication, and also it's a clarity. Actually, eventually, I know you that you are learning and you are a part of the, you are very seriously, you are involved and you are, you are contemplating. And also when I prepare my lecture, because in the day I sit and study, it's not that I come and simply speak. So when I study and when I contemplate, I take certain comments very seriously. From that point of time, I redraft my entire teaching actually, and I try to put it into those perspectives, because what students are understanding, that is what the teacher will deliver actually. It's not that whatever I know, everything I can speak. That is not going to work out. And today, precisely, that is what Hayagriva is also going to discuss the same thing actually, and that's what I'm going to explain to you. So writing is very important. Unless and until you are not going to be expressive, it will be very difficult actually from this education point of view. Because see, Devi is highly expressive. Imagine if she's not going to express herself, nothing would work out actually. All cannot be like Shiva, without being expressive. That is not going to help. You have to be like Devi actually. Expressions are very important, and it is not necessary that you have to write only in English. You can write in other languages. Thanks to AI today, it instantly converts into what is that you're writing for me actually. So you can freely write it in your comfortable language also, and absolutely fine. And I hope you've all seen the assignments, and yes, you have seen the assignment question, right? You started preparing, correct? Good, good. So to start with what I started, so Hayagriva is talking about the concept of what is called as Satpatra Sishyaha. Satpatra Sishyaha. That is, in a way, Bhaskaracharya is explaining, though it is Agastya Mahamuni, and there is no any second opinion on the qualities of Agastya Mahamuni, but still the Guru is waiting for that moment, it seems. The Guru is waiting for that moment to deliver this knowledge. And that quality that the Guru is looking at, Satpatraha. Satpatra means this Patram can hold this actually. That is, Agastya can hold this knowledge actually. Agastya can do what is called as, he can do Uddharanam of this knowledge. Uddharanam means in two ways. It is not only his own Uddharanam. Uddharanam means he is not only going to be benefited, but he is going to benefit a larger, a larger picture that is involved actually. Hayagriva also equally knows, and Agastya also equally knows. But the system and the process was maintained here. That is what is very interesting. We have to understand. It is not that Hayagriva was an exalted teacher. As I told you, he was a Bhagavan, he was a teacher, he was a Mahamuni, he had all the qualities. And similarly, Agastya also had all the qualities, a Mahamuni, a Tapasvi, a foremost of all the Saptarishis, and all the qualities are there. But still, the process, the hierarchy, the procedures, everything was well maintained between the Guru and the Sishya. This is what Bhaskaracharya is very clearly explaining to us, actually. Number one. Number two, Bhaskaracharya is giving three-way explanation for this, for the explanation of this entire Lalita Sahasranamam coming into existence. See, there are majority of people where they will understand the concepts and they will use that concept they will use that concept at a superficial level and they will go ahead in their life. In simple example, you all studied the XYZ theories. Thankfully, I didn't study. I'm from a humanities and social science background. In 11th and 12th, maybe all those who were miserably studied physics and maths theories, actually. Okay. So you studied all kinds of theories. You broke your head to pass that board examination, you cleared, and then you were at peace. Abba, it's over. And then you went into something else. Correct, na? You all went into something else. But there are some people, out of how many? Lakhs and lakhs of students, those who studied, they will take it up further. They will make it as their core specialization. They will learn further and they will go to the next level. Correct? This is second step. The third step is first, second, and the third step, they invent the theory from the existing theory, actually. They bridge what is called as the literature. They bridge the knowledge. Correct? That is the way the system has evolved, actually. Eventually, it has evolved. So, Bhaskaracharya is saying one beautiful thing to all of us. We have all been chanting Lalita Sahasranama, correct? Sinduraruna Vigraham Trinayana Manikyamali Spuradara Nayakashekaram Sipamukimapi Navakshorvam Panibhyamali Purnaratan Shashakam Raktotpalam. Like you are bombarded Devi in many different occasions with your Lalita Sahasranama. She kept listening to you. She has also seen you in participating in Yata Shaktihi Tata Buddhihi. Wherever you do, you have done by yourself. You have invited, you went in temples at various places, you have done this. So Bhaskaracharya is saying that we, all of us who are here, we all have been in a way yearning for this knowledge. It seems that our soul has been waiting for it, it seems, actually. Now Bhaskaracharya is asking this question, like, did you do some tapas in this janma especially? Straightforward answer is maybe no. But it is there in your soul, it seems. It has been there from some janmas. And your soul within you is feeling, enough is enough. I can't go through this, actually. You understand what I'm trying to say? Maybe it is there in you in a way, but still this Maya Vimoha Prapancham is still holding us back in very different ways, which we cannot deny. But this Maya Vimoha Prapancham is holding only our body and senses. But deep inside, it is longing us towards this knowledge, it seems, actually. So we have done enough of. Now somebody can even tell me, I am here, somebody who has not maybe chanted so much of Lalita Sahasranama in this Janma. Correct. But how did you land up in this Bhash session? There should be some equation to this, actually. Yes or no? In this Janma, I didn't even chant Lalita Sahasranama. I know there is something Lalita Sahasranama because the entire YouTube is filled with this, actually. So I thought you are also part of that group who wants to talk about Lalita Sahasranama. So I just landed up in your class accidentally. No, that is not the case here. You understand? Because I am not giving some miracles of Lalita Sahasranama here. I'm straightforward talking from the Bhashyam point of view. And that is the foundation why there is so much of people speaking on Lalita Sahasranamam actually. And interestingly, Bhaskaracharya is very clearly identifying that after a particular point in time in Kali Yuga, people will turn towards the Shakti because they themselves will feel that there is a lack of real Shakti. What we are actually assuming to be Shakti is not the Shakti that is enough, but we are in search of that Shakti for that soul. Atma Shakti hi. And that Atma Shakti hi is nothing but the Atma Vicharaha. So Atma Vicharam is pulling us, it seems, actually. Got it? So, whether this question will, if this question has to come, because it is the preliminary that is going on, whether you understand yourself to be Satpatram or not, you might have that doubt. And that if that doubt is there, there is a matter of humility is also there. I'm so humble that I don't even know, whether I'm a Satpatram or not. That is a wonderful thing, actually. That is a very good way of beginning towards this, stepping into this knowledge. But another way to understand is this, that you are definitely blessed to receive this knowledge that is from Purva Janma Phala Sukrutam is there. Purva Janma Phala Sukrutam. This has to reach you, so it is reaching you. You are being you have been not given this gimmicks, because in today's world is full of this gimmicks, healing gimmicks. Do this for these many days, something is going to happen. Like you are all now, very clearly this is the learning outcome of this class. We are going to understand the text actually. So there is a deep down interest is there, and that interest is where it is not in your brains, it is there in your soul. That is what you should identify. Bhaskaracharya is telling you are thinking that you are operating from your mind, but your mind is conditioned. You are operating through your soul. And this Sahasranama Bhashyam is going to in turn, it is going to work on the diseased mind. What is the disease? This aham that is there in you, that will be wiped off by this exercise, and this aham will be transformed, or rather replaced with Lalita. This is no more going to be that aham, that limited idea that we carry with ourselves and we are constantly suffering, that is going to convert into what is called as Lalita. Aham Lalita. Very simple. Able to follow what I'm trying to say? Give some reactions now. Something like this or something like this. Or smile at me. Some people are literally staring at me like anything, like I'm afraid actually. Oh my God, what's happening around? Thank you. So therefore, in this particular context, Bhaskaracharya is justifying that since Agastya is a Satpatram and Hayagriva was waiting for Agastya to ask the question. Every guru will do a testing in terms of understanding how well the student is qualified for certain dimensions. And so this was one of the tests, or rather it was a direct thing that Hayagriva felt that Agastya can ask me so that I can answer him actually. So, and Agastya landed up asking. And of course, it is Paramatma who is friend, like Hayagriva. So Hayagriva, you think that Hayagriva don't know what is running in Agastya's mind? Of course, Hayagriva will know everything, right? So, and the kind of dualities that Agastya was carrying in his heart, should I ask or should I not ask? Will he tell me or he just vanish without telling me? If he's just simply going to vanish, Where should I go and search him? Should I go land up in Vaikuntham? If I'm going to go in Vaikuntham, whether he will be in Vishnu form or he would have transformed to some other form, because he's a Nama Dharana Vesha Rupi, right? So he keeps changing his forms actually. Correct, na? He keeps changing his form. So where will I go and search for him again if he's going to change his form and land up in some other locum? How to find him and find the answer actually? So all these confusions are there in Agastya's mind. So finally, Agastya felt before he give a farewell, it's better to directly ask him. So that asking was the qualification which Hayagriva holded for Agastya. And also, a very interesting thing Bhaskaracharya is telling is that the way it was asked was also Hayagriva was considering, it seems actually. The way it was asked, because the way in which it was asked showed the deep concern that Agastya wanted to transform this knowledge to all the Rishi Putras and Rishi Putris. That is, we are all Rishi Putras and Rishi Putris, right? Actually. So it want that concern was also one of the deep down important thing that Hayagriva wanted to, realize it. It's just like you would have seen in movies. There are two smugglers. They will be doing smuggling dealing. Okay. Though the other person will know this person will only come. Okay. But they will have one secret code called as one 10 rupees note with a particular serial number. Only you should carry that note and then tell that serial number, then only it will be given to you. You as a person is not qualified there. Correct, na? You understand what I'm... So that it is something similar to that. Agastya is well qualified. Agastya is the one who is going to be the torch bearer. Agastya himself know that. Again, Hayagriva no, but no. The testing. The right way of testing actually. The reason why Bhaskaracharya he himself is explaining so much about the receiving part and the explanation part is that you should understand, you are in a very important phase of your life to understand this meaning and explanation. There is definitely a very big turning point is there in your life that's the reason you are undergoing this Shravana Mahayagnya, because what is happening is as equivalent to conducting a Mahayagnya. Mahayagnya means what? A very big fire sacrifice. Mahayagnya Homam. What Homam we are conducting? Indirectly, we are conducting a Sukshma Mahapanchadashi Homam. Sukshma Homam, because Sthula Homam also, it has very less relevance actually. Here, indirectly, we are going on talking about the secrets of the Nama, the mantra which is embedded in the Nama, which is deeply tantric actually. This is, इससे बड़ा कोई tantra नहीं हो सकता है actually. You understand? This is the biggest secret, which is a secret, but still it is spoken actually. That is the primary quality of identifying Tantra actually. Are you able to follow? So you are deeply entering what is called as an altering the entire state of your consciousness actually. This is doing something to your consciousness. And this will eventually reflect in your personality. This will eventually reflect in your senses. This will reflect in the way you think for yourself and for others. This will reflect definitely in the decision making of what you are going to do for yourself and for others, both materially and ultimately spiritually. It's all in your sankalpam actually. That's the reason this is called as a Shravana Maha Tantrika Yajnam. Shravana means listening. Constantly, this 1 hour is full of mantras. Moving further. So we were supposed to start with Bhaskaracharya's Punya Charitram. Now the question will come in actually. Bhaskaracharya is an authority. Bhaskaracharya is saying in everything, but why should we accept Bhaskaracharya's Bhashyam? Correct, na? What? After all, we are all humans. We will land up this question actually. Why should I listen to Bhaskaracharya? Why Bhaskaracharya, whatever he's saying is correct? Correct, na? Like many among us, he can also keep saying his own cock and bull stories, in the name of Devi. Devi is telling me this, maybe we don't know whether it's true or not. So how to test this? Well, so the Charitram itself is giving the answer. But before giving the answer to the Charitram, the Bhashyam is talking about one thing very important. That the reason there is always, there is always this duality that you should not chant the mantras. You are not qualified. There are only a few people qualified. There are only, or there are only a particular section of people who are qualified. If you have to chant mantras, you have to follow XYZ rules. Correct? So many things are there, actually. So many things are there. So the Bhashyam itself is saying, Bhashyakarar himself is saying, the reasons why we have all these rules and regulations are not because of the reason that people are discriminated from, to getting into the practices. The reason is, we just realized that even Agastya was deep down tested by Hayagriva before this knowledge was handed over. Number one. And number two, this identification of the Satpatram is a very important concept, because unless and until the Sishya is not a Satpatraha, he or she will not be able to digest this knowledge completely. What is the meaning of digesting the knowledge? Digesting the knowledge means definitely as it is declared that everybody is qualified, but qualification alone is not the prerequisite, value, but there is also something called as a training is required. The training is required. That's the reason in today's times, Askaracharya is saying at that point of time as today's time, just imagine today's times. In today's times, mantras are available, but the yogya dhanam of that mantra is not there. Simply he finished. Trust me, out of all of you, those who are sitting in front of him, majority of you have taken some or the other mantras from some or the other places actually. But why is that you are not able to chant the mantra? You will simply accuse that guru or that organization or XYZ things. That person, that was like that, XYZ, this and that, But what about you? You tell me about you. You got the mantra, na? You should be able to do the mantra japam. So the guru or the guru's organization or from whose even you would have paid landing up getting that mantra. In today's time, those facilities are also available, it seems. My guru will say that if you go to market in today's time, the only thing which you cannot bring home is only your parents. Rest everything you can buy and come from the market actually. You pay, you will get the services. Simple. So similarly, if you want mantra, pay and take the mantra. Finish. So like that, everything is available, including mantra. See, but so you have to understand, if you have mantra, those who are listening to me, you should really deeply evaluate yourself, not judge yourself, that you have the mantra, but why are you not able to do the chanting of that mantra? Because it is not that you are not a Yogyavan or you are not a Satpatram. The only thing is that the required training that should have been there for you to receive that mantra is not there actually. The prerequisite training that is required. See, even Hayagriva gave training of telling the entire Charitram, first the entire Brahmanda Puranam and then Lalitopakyanam, and at the end only he gave Lalita Sahasranama. He didn't give immediately Lalita Sahasranama and ask them to, okay, go, that's enough. That is not the case, it happened. So, being that patram is very important. Number one. And number two, in some of the rare cases, the Shastram is very clearly saying that in Tamil, they say, Vitta Pora Totta Pora. I mean, you started some point of time, in some of the lifetimes, it came until a step, but it didn't reach what is called as fruitification. You have again started it from the place where you actually left. Getting the point? Otherwise, all of a sudden, how it will come in actually? It was there. And now it has manifested again. In this age, in this point of time, it has to come out. It is coming out actually. And that is a very important thing actually, which my guru keeps talking about it and he keeps validating it actually. Most of us come to spirituality because of two important reasons, or spirituality or this kind of a knowledge. One is that desire, at a very superficial level, or at a lower level, it is all about the needs and the necessities, the economic and the social needs and necessities. To fulfill them, we come in, and from there we go to the next level, what is called as so-called failures in the material world, actually failures in relationships, failures in work, failures in business, or XYZ. But they are not actually failures, it seems. At that point of time, that momentum or a break is given to you because you will turn back to yourself, and that yourself is nothing but your soul actually. A very important thing actually. Or if something you are deep longing, you are desiring, but that is not happening means, and you are redirected towards these kind of dimensions, then you should realize that, okay, this is the path that you are supposed to choose. You have been called in this path. That's the reason that particular thing is not given. Because ultimately it is said that if everybody is having everything so happy, happy wife, a happy husband, happy luxurious life, happy job, then why should somebody come to Lalita actually? Logical question, no? So if you are stopped from something, it is not called as a nigraham, it is anugraham actually. It is actually anugraham that is taking place in your life. You should only realize that. Because Devi is trying in many ways to bring us to her, it seems, but you are not listening. So this is the thing that it can be done. So she's pulling us in those dimensions. So instead of getting hurt like this, Bhaskaracharya and other acharyas are saying, use your intelligence. Whatever is there, be satisfied, do that properly. Try to evolve there and try to redirect yourself from this side actually, because you have started understanding this knowledge. Actually, you have been exposed to this knowledge. It's better you walk this side. Otherwise, you keep going to the other side, you will be hurt, and then you cannot put it on anybody, including Devi. Got it? Do I make sense? So, the very definition of what is failure and what is success, we have to question actually, which is very important in this spiritual path. Whether you have short-term goals or whether you have long-term goals, you should have a very specific agenda. There is somebody who wrote this email actually to me, that we are going to start with Varahi Navaratri celebrations both in our Peetam and in online. We are planning a lot of activities and everything. So this is one very sincere student wrote to me saying that, it's been a year, it's not even a year that he has lost his father. And the traditional dimension of idea comes in the fact that, we're not supposed to do any rituals or pujas or anything. It is against the Shastra Dharmam and everything. So I'm not very sure what to do, but I'm deeply interested in what you are saying also. My answer is only one single sentence. Are you doing Are you learning and are you going to do all these rituals for what is called as Atma Vidya? Or are you going to do all these things for Laukika Sankalpa? Very simple. Did I answer you all or not? Did I make sense? See, 1 year, it's not even 1 year. I totally understand, but I will honestly ask this question. We are all eating, we are all doing our work, we are sleeping, we are enjoying whatever dimensions we are doing, right? So why we are thinking that we are stopped from going to reach God actually? This entire shariram, this entire system is given for us to reach Bhagavan actually. Because a dog or a cat or a buffalo or any other forms cannot reach Bhagavan the way we can reach actually. So 1 whole year you are restricting for some, for some unknown reasons which is not even prescribed. I do not know why that you are keeping away from Bhagavan means who is responsible for this, you tell me. If you are having that much of dukkham, then you should not even sleep, eat, or do anything. That is a real dukkham. Then you don't even do, what is called as the worshipping of the divine. Then I understand that much of dukkham is there. So are you in the MahaVidyalaya for Atma Labha Prapti, or are you there in the MahaVidyalaya for fulfilling, there is other dimension of so we are not denying that is also there. It's not, see, even all of you, those who have been kind enough for us to do these congregation upasana, you have all contributed. We have asked for the names, nakshatra of your family members also. I've asked even if there is anything specific you want me to offer prayers and everything. That is all fine. But ultimately, do you have this sankalpam? Do you have this clarity that this is Atma Vidya? Atma Vidya, Mahavidya, Shri Vidya, Kama Sevita. Are you here for Atma Vidya? Or are you going to constantly battle with your, all these temporary dimensions of your life? You should have that clarity. So Hayagriva and Agastya had this clarity actually. And that's a reason this clause has been given. It seems like Hayagriva is asking this question to Agastya. It seems you are taking it in a very deep, interesting manner for yourself, and you are going to give it to others. But just think about it that everybody is qualified to take this. Everybody is qualified to take this treasure. Think about it actually. For that, Agastya gave a very simple answer, it seems. You know what? Even if I want to give it to my children, because we are all children of the rishis, right? I am pretty sure that the yoginis are very sharp enough that they will reach it only to them, those who are qualified actually. So it means what? In other words, the yoginis have qualified you. Keep up the qualification, my dear students. Don't lose it. They can snatch it away any moment, I'm telling you. Make the sankalpam properly. Are you here to learn? For what reason? You tell to yourself, declare it actually. It's better. There might be confusion. I'm okay with it. Whether I really need Devi or whether I need all these things here. Maybe that question is there. I am totally fine with that question. But at least you have a clarity. Whether I am confused or whether I have clear goals or whether I am still trying actually. Think about it actually, which is very important for this knowledge to flourish actually. But as it is given in the Bhashyam, you are here, you are listening. If this moment you are listening means it is written to you that you are supposed to listen. And you are listening and it is going to do something within you. And the outcome can come the very next moment, the very next day, the very next month, the very next year, or the very next janma. We never know. But outcome is for sure, it is there actually. It's not going to be wasted. That is something the Bhashyakara is promising us actually. Okay. So let us get into the Charitram of Bhaskaracharya. So Bhaskaracharya is there is a lot of oral narratives and traditions about the life of Bhaskaracharya. Bhaskaracharya's life, I already spoke a little bit in detail in the last Purva Bhagam when I was explaining. So maybe I'm not going into there at this point of time. I'll explain from a very different dimension of the Bhashyam. So it seems that Bhaskaracharya's origins, if we have to trace, means he's from Maharashtra. He's from the area of region from Maharashtra. And from Maharashtra, he comes down to South India, particularly to the place which is called as Tanjore in today's times, actually. And the reason why Bhaskaracharya came down to Tanjore is because Bhaskaracharya's guru has conducted a very big Vajapeya Mahayagna, it seems, in the Kaveri banks. A Vajapeya Mahayagna is nothing but a 17-day, a huge Mahayagna, which is in the recent times, the scholars explain that it is like conducting a Olympics, actually. It's like conducting a Olympics because it involves a lot of, sports, but a lot of sports activities are also there along with musical and other entertainment activities. They also conduct what is called as the Soma Yaga, actually. So it was considered to be the ancient India Olympics. So that is that prestigious kind of a Mahayajna was conducted. And because he conducted that Vajapeya Yajna, his guru was called to be Vajapeya Swami. So since his guru came settled in because after conducting that ritual, the guru got a space in the Kaveri, in the river bank of Kaveri itself, in the place called as Tanjavur. So Bhaskaracharya also settled along with the guru itself because he wanted to live very much closer to his guru. So he came down, actually. And that place is still there. And you all know that even recently I visited and I shared the pictures with all of you. It is called as Bhaskarajapuram or Bhaskarayapuram, actually. Bhaskarayapuram or Bhaskarajapuram in Tanjore. There's a very beautiful Sri Chakra temple is there, actually. And from there only, our Adhishthatri, our MahaVidyalaya Adhishthatri, who is Kadira Mangalam Vanadurga, is there, actually. So all our Vishesha Puja, Sankalpa, Prarthana, if any yantra or vigraham that is given to our students when they reach to the higher dimensions and all, the yantras are actually taken to that temple. Special pujas are performed, prana pratishtha, everything. The initial all the kramams are performed in that temple, and then it is handed over to the students, actually. So we have a very, a very important relationship with Kadiramangalam, actually. Kadiramangalam, Vana Durga. If anybody will travel and all towards that side, you can sure go and have darshan. And you can if you're going, you inform the MahaVidyalaya, we will, so that, we can inform the temple authority so that you can say that your guru is like this, and they know me and our institutions very well. So you can offer special prayers to Devi, actually. Kadiramangalam, Vanadurga. From there, it is very nearby, actually. From Kadiramangalam, this Bhaskarajapuram is nearby, actually. And so Bhaskaracharya is living in that what is called as Kadiramangalam, actually. In Kadiramangalam, in Bhaskarajapuram, in that banks of, near the Kaveri Thiram, Bhaskaracharya is living, and Bhaskaracharya is married, and Bhaskaracharya's Dharma Patni was called to be Anandi. And Bhaskaracharya was truly, truly a Jivan Mukta, truly what is called as in the modern terms, he is definitely a feminist in a sense that he also gave equal spiritual and religious empowerment to his wife. And he initiated her into the highest of all the mantras, and he made her also a Sri Vidya Upasaka, actually. He gave that space, and he gave that kind of kind of a realization for her also, an equal status in the Upasana. So even Anandi Amma also was initiated, and she was also a brilliant Sri Vidya Upasaka and Guru. And in fact, the Bhaskaracharya Charitram says that after Bhaskaracharya's Deha Vimukti, like after he had quit the body, Anandi Amma has constructed a temple in that same area, and she was a guru, and she was teaching until her lifetime, actually. So there is a Shiva temple. If you go to that place, as I told you, in Bhaskarajapuram, there is a Shiva temple is there, actually. Bhaskarayeshwarar. The Shiva name is Bhaskarayeshwarar, actually. So that she continued the legacy. So that is what is the Charitram we know. So this Bhaskaracharya has given what is called as the Lalita Sahasranama Bhashyam. Bhaskaracharya has also given us the entire Kramam as how to worship the Shri Chakram. He has also written Bhashyams on various other texts like the Yogini Hridayam, the Nitya Shodash. So all these today, the entire worship of Shri Chakra or the Shri Vidya was completely revived, or whatever it is available over the internet, which you all have read and heard, and everything is the foundation is laid by Bhaskaracharya, actually, none other than Bhaskaracharya. So directly or indirectly, Bhaskaracharya is a guru for all of you, actually. And from our Sampradayam, Bhaskaracharya is a guru, actually. So you have learned everything from Bhaskaracharya indirectly, if I have to tell you. Whatever you put Sri Vidya and any information is coming, it's Bhaskaracharya's information. Straightforward answer. So this Bhaskaracharya, during his study, his guru has asked him to go to Kashi to further study about the interrelationship between Veda and Upanishad, and how beautifully it could be understood from the Advaita point of view in Sri Vidya. And Bhaskaracharya was a brilliant scholar, no doubt about it. So he landed up in Kashi. And when he was in Kashi, there are all these other panditas, the Shakta panditas who were there, and they wanted to debate with Bhaskaracharya. They wanted to land up having a debate with Bhaskaracharya. And when we are talking about debate, the other Bhashyakaras are writing this. Anybody who wanted to do Satkaryam, number one. Anybody who wanted to do Satkaryam, or number two, Mahan, particularly if they are Satpurushas and they wanted to do Satkaryam, their names will always be spoiled by some of the other individuals. They will always face trouble, actually. And they have to wait, they have to go through it, and they have to sustain that, and they have to go further this, actually. Any Mahan you take, anybody who has involved their life in these dimensions, they will face these challenges, actually, and they have to overcome these challenges to go through the different dimensions. This is a very unfortunate thing that is laid upon the saints, actually, and they have to go through it, and they will come out of it, actually. So based on this, though the debate was called, people were very highly jealous of Bhaskaracharya's knowledge and the grace he carried, it seems. Because it is said that where there is knowledge is there, the grace will be very less. Where the grace is there, the knowledge will be very less, actually. That is what, Bhaskaracharya wanted to bridge in Sri Vidya. He wanted all the students should be as graceful and as knowledgeable, actually. And that is what truly we are trying to do in our MahaVidyalaya to the 100% extent, actually. It's not that we know only the kramams or the mantras or, the chantings or the puja paddhatis or everything, but we also know the theory. We both combining the theory and the paddhati, we attain what is called as that humility, and that humility will give us that grace of that knowledge, actually. We're trying our level best, actually. So Bhaskaracharya is having uniquely these two qualities, and Bhaskaracharya is, he knows that these people are unnecessarily disturbing him, but he was very calm, it seems, very calm, very quiet. And he was going on asking these questions. I mean, those who were going on asking him these unnecessary questions, he was patiently answering them, it seems. Patiently answering. There, in that particular area, there was this particular Mahatma called as Kunkumananda Swami. Kunkumananda Swami. Kunkumananda Swami. Why his name became Kunkumananda? They are saying that before sitting for the upasana, Sri Vidya upasana, Sri Chakra puja, he will apply vibhuti, it seems. Okay. And when he finishes his puja and he gets up, that vibhuti will turn into kunkumam, it seems. And when I read this, I remembered instantly, my grandmother used to take us when we were very young children to in Sri Rangam actually. There was this old mommy, one old lady, she was there actually. We used to go yearly twice or thrice to go and see her actually. I remember this very instantly. And I went and discussed this with my amma, I mean my grandmother. That mami, that used to be a very small house, that Agraharam in Srirangam, Tiruchi, almost to Srirangam. This mami used to live in that house. There used to be, her daughter used to be there, or somebody else was there. I forgot that. Even Amma is not remembering now, very vague. So this mami used to live in a small room, and that room used to be filled with kumkumam actually. She lived in that room actually until she gave up her life. And she used to keep the Mahameru in her head, and she will tie a cloth like this and keep that Mahameru. Actually, she will. So when the idea is that when I saw her, she at that point of time itself, she was in her 70s. So she used to say that for the ones who have got the mantra dikshas, the Sampurna Mahasodashi and all, it is said that the pranam will go from the Kapalam. So when the pranam is going through the Kapalam, it has to go through her Meru actually, so that it will attain directly to the Sripuram. So she used to always tie with a cloth, she will tie the Sri Chakram here and she will tie the cloth like this and she will keep. As a child, I used to be very afraid to see that. And Amma knows because my grandmother knows because through her gurus and all she knows. So we used to go and visit, and we cannot enter that room actually. And she will also not come out of that room actually. But the room will be filled with kumkum. So we used to take kumkumam also to pour it in that room actually. So, and we used that prasadam is that when the room is open, we will do namaskaram and we will take kumkumam from that room and we will apply actually. That mami lived in that room for almost like 40, 50 years, just imagine. What a kind of a tapas. So when I read about Kunkumananda Swami, it was not very surprising for me in a way, actually. See, we are all calling ourselves as upasakas, actually. We should really think, actually, whether, like, what dimensions are we upasakas, actually, or sādhakas, rather. Okay. So Kunkumananda Swami. So that's the reason Kunkumananda, the name came him actually, through his upasana, the vibhuti converting into kunkumam. So Kunkumananda Swami came where the sambhasham is happening, conversation is happening, and he's told these people, it seems, you people are unnecessarily getting into trouble by going on, torturing and misbehaving and doing this sarcasm of question and answer thing that is going on with Bhaskaracharya. See, I'm telling you, he is not a normal person. Don't play around with him. It is going to be a great danger for all of you. In that one of the person, what danger? Like all of you are praising him like so much that he has Ambal Kadaksham. He's a very Shrestha Upasaka XYZ. So we are here to test him actually. Then he called one, you come here, Then he said, who is answering there? He's the one who is answering, na? No. I can see that with my eyes, with my naked eyes, I'm able to see right on the right shoulder of Bhaskaracharya, Sakshat Maha Tripura Sundari is sitting, and she is the one who is answering all these questions. He is not answering. Maha Tripura Sundari is sitting and answering. By listening to this, the other one who was going on debating was so shocked, it seems, and asking, is it really Maha Tripura Sundari is answering? Okay, then if that is the case, even I want to have darshan of Devi actually. Even I want to have the Sakshat darshan of Devi, which was seen to be valid, it seems actually. Kunkumananda Swami is saying that this seems to be a very valid thing. Because whatever it is coming from a upasaka who has done upasana, and he is in front of a upasaka where Devi's pratyaksham is there. But Kunkumananda is saying that, okay, now that you wanted to have darshan of Devi, you come down with that humility to ask that you want to have darshan of Devi. Then then based on this conversation which he's having with Kunkumananda, then he comes with humility, saying that, okay, this is not my right way of asking this question. Maybe what Kunkumananda Swami is saying is really true, that Kunkumananda Swami can actually see the Pratyaksha Darshanam of Maha Tripura Tripurasundari herself sitting on the shoulder of Bhaskaracharya. So let me also get into that same bhavana actually. So let me with offer my gratitude. Let me offer that vinamratam. Very important. And then this was conveyed to Bhaskaracharya. Kumamananda Swami is going and conveying this to Bhaskaracharya, it seems. Swamiji, this is what it is. He is deeply requesting the fact that he wanted to have darshanam of Amba, who's sitting on your shoulder, and she's the one who's answering, and she's telling everything in your ears, and you are going on answering this actually. So this particular Pandita wants to have darshan actually. So Bhaskaracharya will say, okay, we can do, but we have to first cleanse his eyes actually. How to cleanse the eyes? Bhaskaracharya will say, today morning, the Abhisheka Jalam is there. My personal Meru, I have done Abhishekam and I have kept the Jalam. Bring that Kalasham, bring that vessel. So Bhaskaracharya, as Kumpamananda Swami will do it. And as directed by Bhaskaracharya, Kumpamananda Swami takes the water from that and he will splash it on the eyes of that Pandita who is asking this question. And once he does like this, when does this, he can see Sakshat Mahatripurasundari on the shoulders of Bhaskaracharya. And he is completely went into that ecstasy. And now not knowing what to do, looking into his action, reaction and everything, other Panditas got completely flabbergasted actually. And they have accepted at that point of time, Bhaskaracharya is not a normal person. And then it means that there is something, he's having the kataksham of Mahatripurasundari. They have come to that kind of a conclusion. But they didn't leave it there, it seems. They didn't leave it there. They are saying to Kumpamananda Swami, okay, Bhaskaracharya is getting all the answers from Mahatripurasundari and he is letting us know. Okay. But we wanted it to be something very different and unique. Now, Kumpamananda Swami is asking, bhai, we thought problem is solved. Again, you people are creating one problem, what it is all about. That Panditas, the group of Panditas are saying, see, whatever we asked now, we asked only those things which we know already. Okay. Or rather, we assume to know what we know. There is a two difference, yes or no? We know or we assume to know what we know. Correct, na? So now let us ask Bhaskaracharya something which we don't know, but it is still there. But the answer is still there. And when he will answer us, that answer itself will be convincing us that he is not saying, but Devi herself is saying answer. We will come to that conclusion. What a complication. Correct, na? So whatever he is going to say should be something so unique, which is not at all there. But yet when he is conveying it, it should convey to them that that answer is correct only. Okay. So now what is that question which these group of Panditas are going to ask, and how Bhaskaracharya is going to handle this? Let's see tomorrow. Thank you so much. Let me end the session with Mangalam. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambhake Gauri Narayani Namostute Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshamak Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Sarvam Shri Chandi Mahalakshmi Arpanamastu Jaya Jaya Mahatripurasundari Vijayi Bhava. Thank you so much. Namaskaram. Also, Also, a small request to all of you. There are still a few segments are left. If anybody is kind enough to offer your kanike or donation, please do so. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you,
Thank
Guruji.
you.
Thank
Guruji,
you,
wish you
Guruji.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Guruji.
Thank you,
Guruji.
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 Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you,
Namaskaram.
Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.